At Boston College, he didn't start in finance. He was a math major, unsure of what he wanted. By sophomore year, the reality hit. If he wanted investment banking, he was already behind. The rejections piled up, so he did the only thing he could. He picked up the phone. Hundreds of networking calls, one after another, until something finally clicked. And that's when the internship came. That's the story you're about to hear.
All right, Rohan, thanks so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So it'd be great if you could just give the listeners a short summary of bio, where you're from, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I'm from Grafton, Massachusetts, been born and raised here my entire life. I'm a current senior now at BC, and I'm studying economics and finance.
That's awesome. And so let's start with just kind of back when you were starting out freshman year at BC. Did you think like, okay, I want to go into like strategic advisory, finance? Like, did you know you wanted to do this for a while, or was it something that kind of just came up after like all the clubs? I know BC has a big finance presence. So was it more that, or was it something you kind of always knew you wanted to do?
It's always been something in the back of my mind. Like, I've always been a math oriented person. I loved it growing up. I still really like it. And so when I came into BC, I started as a math major. Didn't know like what I wanted to do, just knew I liked math. You know, another caveat is I have a twin brother who also goes to BC with me.
Oh, you can mess with people, huh? Like all the time.
We both got long hair. Like, people confuse us all the time.
That's awesome.
For him though, he kind of like figured out finance early. Like, he knew he wanted to do it. And so from him, I kind of saw that and used him as a great model. And I learned a lot from him just by seeing what he did too.
Nice. So, I mean, you were joining us kind of what I would consider, you know, for IB, it would have been late, right? So March of, you know, your sophomore year, correct?
No, my junior year. Yep.
Oh, so very late. So like, what was your thought process like?
To be honest, just applying anywhere, just seeing what I could do.
Yeah.
With like in the background of my mind, I always have loved financial markets. Like, I like to day trade most days, most mornings. And so I always wanted to do something like that.
It's cool. And so kind of when you started finding out about us, like, what did you, let's start with like, what were you doing before? Like, were you networking aggressively? Because your twin brother is really aggressively going after finance.
Yeah, I was kind of like, you know, dipping my toes in a little bit, but wasn't fully after it. Like, but the one thing I did do, I did a lot of networking calls. Like, I didn't know how to do them. I didn't know like, I'm going in here to make an impression. I just thought these were random phone calls. And so I did so many, and I got a lot better at talking to people, at like having conversations.
Yeah. So let's talk numbers. Like, when you said so many, was that like over 50?
Yeah. So it was over 100 calls. Like, it was a lot. There would be a lot of weeks where like, because once I get into the groove of it, I'm really going. So there would be weeks where I'd have like 20 calls, staggered throughout the days. Yeah, just as many as I could every morning, just sending emails out to literally every single person I could find. So I got 2 interviews. I got one with UBS and I got one with SMBC, both in their S&T departments.
Yeah.
Neither of them went my way. And then, so then I kind of figured I need to reassess my strategy. What I was doing wasn't working. And that really led me to WSO.
And what was kind of the low point of the recruiting? Was it that specific moment, like when you got the second rejection? Did you make it to super days, or was it first rounds and done? Like, what was the?
Both were super days, and then
super days. Oh, you were close.
Yeah.
Okay, so was that like the low point for you, or was there something else that happened later on that was like harder once you joined us?
I would say so. You know, that was a low point, but I was a little younger at the time, and then so after joining, I did another 2 interviews. And those also didn't go my way. So I would say that was a low point in terms of like, you know, I tried something, reassessed my strategy, tried again, thinking about how to reassess my strategy again. And so once already doing it, I was a little bit like, what do I do here? And so that was a low point.
It's interesting that you said like you were doing a lot of networking calls. You just didn't really know how to guide them or do that. I think that's very common. Was there anything else you felt like besides the networking that you needed like additional focus or coaching on that you leveraged us for?
Definitely. That would be like telling my story. Because I remember my first meeting with Annie, she asked me to tell me about myself. And I was like, I don't know how to do that, because it would always be a function of me referencing my previous experiences, but I never thought that was who I really am. It was really interesting. So I met Annie, and then about like 30 minutes later, I got an interview request for a private equity firm. It's called Seacoast Capital. And so I went through 3 rounds of interviews with them, got to the final round. It didn't work out. But then simultaneously, I was also interviewing at another company, healthcare company, but in their finance division called Werfen. Same thing. Go through 3 rounds of interviews, get to the final round, didn't get the the invite. And so what ended up happening was, with Watauga Partners or I'll just start with there. So with Watauga Partners, fellow BC alum had like reached out to one of our deans about like an open position, and they shared, and then I reached out, and then I spoke with pretty much, there was a really small firm, so I spoke with 3 of the 4 people there, and we had great conversations, and that led to one opportunity.
Okay, so you're basically getting a first round there. Were they asking you like cases, or what were they kind of digging?
It was really just personal conversations. I think it was just getting to know one another. Like, it wasn't really technical whatsoever, and that was more of my strong point at the time, for sure. Just getting to know people, and so it was more straightforward than anything else. It was easy to talk to everyone. It was easy to get to know everyone, and they were super like helpful with me. They would always give me help whenever I needed something, and it was good. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Kind of looking back at that whole process, now that you have that internship kind of locked up for the summer, or I guess you already had it, right? How did it go? Was it good?
It was great. I had a lot of autonomy. Like, they gave me a ton of research to do on my own, which is kind of like what I prefer to do.
Do we know what we're doing full time yet? Is the return there, or was it? Are you in process right now, and can we help you?
Yeah. So for me right now, it's like I'm kind of juggling a few things. So amongst like what I was doing, so I met another mentor who is an advisor at Lincoln International. And so he advised me, and something that I want to do now is do a year of history at Cambridge. In London.
Cool. That's awesome. Kind of looking back at like your path and stuff like that, from obviously kind of a tough sophomore year outcome to a more positive one junior year, like what would you think in terms of like giving yourself advice, or people who are in a similar spot? What would you say to them just in terms of like prepping and stuff like that?
I think overall, like, something I would say is just to like everyone is try not to stress it, because once you get stressed, kind of who you are goes out of the door, and then it becomes, a fear of not being something else. And I think that's the biggest thing for me. I think in terms of the preparation, everyone can do it, everyone can succeed in it, and it's just about how they present it and how I present it too. All these things I'm still working on myself, so that's what I would say.
Yeah. Have you done now like 150 calls or 200 calls total? Like, when adding up all the ones for sophomore, you're like, you must be a really good conversationalist at this point, right?
A lot better. Yeah. That's another thing I would tell people is like, as the calls keep going, you're going to get so much better. It's going to be so much easier. It's going to have to be less preparation, more just off the top of your head. And yeah, that's what I would say.
That's amazing, man. Well, yeah, I appreciate you sharing your story, Rohan. Thanks for coming on. And obviously we'll be here if and when you need us again in the next couple of years. Let us know if we can help on your next transition.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Patrick. I appreciate it.